After I'd done the last video about my so-called biological sister that gave me that ridiculous um, certificate calling me a certified idiot dumbass award, and I knew that was really designed to provoke me, I came to realize after that video that some other things had resurfaced. And now I'm coming to the realization, because I'm at a point right now that everything's resurfacing. Everything. Um, I think about my late father, who had died 2 years ago, and I'm realizing how much he had me fooled. He always acted like I always had thought he was on my side, always wondering why he never fought for me, and now I believe God's revealed it to me in my heart that my father never loved me. He is a different type of narcissist. My dad just used this father figure thing to just say he loves me, he cares about me, he worries about me, and all that mess. And I can remember that there was a time that my husband at the time, or even not even my husband at the time, but my fiance at the time that became my husband, that's the father of both of my children. I recall like it was yesterday, and it's like when I graduated, when I got my associate's degree in marketing, and I had thoughts of continuing that education and wanting to get a bachelor's. I remember telling that to my father, and he didn't say anything. But later on, my fiance at the time had revealed to me that my dad had said to him, "Why would I want to do a thing like that? Why would I try to continue my education?" And at that time, I repressed those feelings, and I just kind of just stuffed those feelings. I didn't want to, and I didn't even act upon getting even furthering it. But looking back, I guess you could say I was discouraged, and I kind of beat myself up a little bit. Said, "Why did I not catch up upon that? Why did I not catch it then?" And I gotta quit beating myself up about that. And there's some other stuff that's really resurfaced that my fiance now that I'm with, who isn't my husband, but will be when God says the time is right, that um, the time that I had gotten a divorce from my first husband, the father of my children. And I remember my dad at the time um, basically got pissed off and mad because he wanted me to get child support so that way he can make money. He and my mother could sit there and make money off my children. And what was going through my head at the time was that I was under the impression that if I did that, if I had fought for the child support, and it was actually a dissolution, it wasn't even an actual divorce, but it works like a divorce, but it's just where a dissolution is where husband and wife, they agree to certain terms, and, and The judge looks at it and usually agrees to it. But anyway, I remember that, yeah, he wanted to make money off of my children. And I didn't want the child support because I just, at that time, my train of thought was just, well, if I did that, if I fought for the child support, it would prolong my divorce. And all I really wanted, the only thing that entered my head that day is I just wanted a divorce so I could move on with my life. And to backtrack some, that yes, when I met the guy that I'm getting ready to be married to when the time is right, um, I was flat out honest with him when we met. Um, and I just, he just says, well, if you're married, why are you here? Aren't you not happy? And I said, no, I'm not. And at that time, I was in the process of physically separating myself from my husband at the time because the marriage was beyond repair. I did everything I could to try to save the marriage. Went through counseling. I did most of the talking. My husband did very little. So that told me where I stand. It told me where I stood there at that point. So I got my divorce. And before I even objected to doing the child support thing, that's when my father had took himself and up and left along with my fiance at the time, and they went back to my father. He and my fiance went back to my father's house, and I was still down there with me and my ex-husband to be, still, filling out papers and going, actually waiting our turn to go see the judge and everything else. And when I got back, my dad really attacked me and asked me what the hell was wrong with me. Why didn't I not pursue the child support? And I even just recalled him even calling me stupid and yelling at me, and I don't remember all the exact words, but it really made me feel degraded. I mean, it really meant in the way he just came at me and yelled at me. I really thought he was going to hit me. But this time around, I bucked up on him and I fought back. Because I wasn't going to take his shit no more. And I even dared for him to even hit me because then there I was prepared to put him in jail. I didn't care. My father did nothing but instill a lot of fear in me. A lot of fear. And yesterday when I realized all this stuff and this all came to fruition and I really, really had my eyes open wide, I broke down and cried. And really thought that I had a father that loved me. And come to find out that I was just deceived. And to top it all off, when I read that letter from my narcissistic sister that's just as sick in the head as the rest of them, she had said something that my father had said and said that, oh, never mind her. She's not all right in the head. So now I strongly believe that he was so agreeing with my mom that I was just nothing but a retard to him too. And I grieved, cried, thinking, my God, I can't believe this. I said, I just got done, I'm still grieving from realizing that I'll never have the mother that I deserve to have. I mean, that my biological mother would never become the mother I want her to be. Coming to that realization and accepting it and grieving and crying and working myself through it. And now, all of a sudden, realizing things resurfacing as they are has really hurt my wounded child a little more. And I'd always thought the world of my father, but now I'm really having some very second thoughts and realizing how much more of a narcissist that my late father was. Let alone, I mean, he thought of nothing but himself when I got that divorce. He just, you know, he told my fiance when I wasn't there to break up with me because I thought of nothing but myself. I'm a bad person. I'm selfish. The divorce is about me, not him. The divorce is about me and not my father. But he was just mad. He said it out. He just pulled that crap all out of anger because I wouldn't let him have his way. And I knew what his motives were. And all I wanted was just to get through it and just get the divorce and move on. And I can safely say that my conscience is clear because I never, ever, ever held him back from seeing his kids. But now, looking back now, I know why he quit being a part of their lives. I'm realizing that now. And I'm realizing that I'm really realizing that my parents have instilled so much fear against him that he just quit coming by because he was afraid of the law. Well, you know what? I'm not afraid of the law. I'm not afraid anymore. I know what my rights are. And like I said, I've got lawyers in high and low places. And I got a lot of resources at my fingertips that I can find anything out. So if it's not Google, it's my other sources, and believe me, I'm ready to use them all because I will win in the end. Yes, I will. And I will get my youngest daughter back. I will. And reflecting upon this letter that my sick narcissistic sister gave me with the dumbass award, she really thinks she can define my future. She really thinks that I will never get a job in the medical field. Really? You think you can stop the all-powerful God that I serve and that loves me unconditionally? You think you have the power to stop him? No, you don't. He has a final say. And guess what? I don't accept your definition of what my future is going to be. I know what my future is. I know what my future holds. What have you ever accomplished in your life? Nothing. You went to college a quarter or two and dropped out. Actually, you were kicked out. And yes, when I started college, yes, it was a rocky start, but you know what? I didn't give up. I kept with it. And yes, I dropped out for a while so I could try to take care of my youngest, of course, my first daughter at the time. And so many things. I couldn't handle it then. I couldn't handle try to take care of her. And at the time, I remember working at a fast food restaurant, part time, but they work you like full time and try to go to school full time. I just couldn't handle it. But the greatest thing is, hey, I came back and I finished. When my oldest daughter grew up and got a little older, I went back to school and I finished. And the school that I just graduated from, the school that I graduated from just recently, Not only did I graduate, but I graduate with honors. And you're going to sit there being in a no account, dead end job because you're scared of what I'm going to become. You're saying all this mess to try to provoke me. All your put downs, well, you know what? They're all dismissed. I'm going to downplay your mess towards me. And I'm going to dismiss it all. And you're not going to stop me from being where I need to be. I have a destiny, and I have the all powerful mighty God on my side that has never left my side. And he knows what hell I've been through. You're very evil, you're very vindictive, and you're never going to have peace. So if you think this letter and that little certificate was supposed to tear me down, no. It's made me more stronger. A lot stronger. And you know what? I don't have the answer to you. Your definition of me and my future have no power on me. Nor do they have any effect on me. Nor do I have to accept your definition of me and my future and what you think my future's going to hold. You're nothing but mouth, and you always will be. And if I want to become a doctor, and if that's where God wants me to be, you can't stop me. I see a lot of abilities in myself. I have the ability to be a doctor. I have ability if I want to become a physician's assistant. I have the endless possibilities are at my fingertips. I know what my abilities are. And if God wants me there, He's going to find a way. And there's nothing that any of y'all can do. Nothing. You can't hurt me. You think this letter hurt me? No. You think that little certificate hurt me? No. All this crap you sent this letter? No. It doesn't affect me. One bit. Because I'm laughing at you right now. And say the joke's on you. You're going to be stuck right where you're at. So you think that you could pull me down right with you by provoking me? Just to try to get me to beat the crap out of you so I can lose my future and lose everything I have? I don't think so. You're a piece of shit. You want to talk about me being trash? No, you're trash. You're trash. And trash takes care of itself. Trash like you that tries to sit here and try to provoke me takes care of itself. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it whatsoever. You're nothing to me. You and the rest of them have no power over me anymore. I told you that. And I'm not afraid of any of you. And yeah, I don't want to know anything about if mom, whenever mom decides to, ends up being gone, I can care less at all. Like I said, I don't want no part of it. She's already been replaced but not by one mother, but two mothers that God's blessed me with. And you know what? You and the rest of them can keep talking about me and keep wishing evil shit on me, because you know what? God's going to bless me right in front of you. Keep talking that shit. Keep trying to provoke me, because it's going to be water right off a duck's back. Like, whatever. Being so empowered with what the hell I'm dealing with narcissists like all of you. Just that empowerment, knowing what I'm dealing with and how to deal with it. I can sit here and laugh now. Before, when I didn't know I was against, I felt so weak, I felt so vulnerable, I felt powerless, I felt like I wanted to just beat the hell out of everybody, beat some sense into them, wanting to beat you and the rest of my so-called sisters to a bloody pulp. That's all because I didn't have no empowerment. I mean, just that desire, I want to do that. But now that I have that empowerment now that what I'm dealing with narcissists like you and the rest of them, just feeling empowered, all that stuff doesn't matter anymore. The anger that you guys provoked in me is no longer there. And it feels good to be empowered knowing what I'm dealing with and knowing how to deal with it. And God has given me that wisdom to know how to deal with it. And yes, all of you are powerless against me now. So none of your put downs, none of your provocations are not going to affect me in any way or form, because I know you're sick. You're all sick in the head, and you know what? You're the one who needs help. But you'll never admit it. I am so far beyond where you ever will be. I mean, I rose above all of your bullshit. And if you think your schemes of provoking me is going to really get my goat, no. Because it's going to backfire right in your face. None of you are going to go anywhere. And I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to do anything but just give all my concerns to God, and He's already taking care of it all. He's dealing with it. I have nothing to fear. And like I said, I'm determined to protect my daughter and my grandkid. I'm very determined to do that. So, you know, I just can't believe how much peace I have within myself. I mean, I still have some unresolved feelings, and I'm working through them as they come up. And it's all part of therapy. But getting back to my late father that I really thought had loved me, had nothing but just deceived me. And all this time I thought he was the enabler. But no. He's not the enabler. He's a narcissist himself. It's amazing how God can just sit there and just reveal all those answers to me and telling me right here and right here. And that's one thing God never does, is lie. And God is not a deceiver. I want to get through this grieving part with my late father. The grieving part of just knowing that I didn't have the father that I thought I had. I deceived myself. I deceived, I was deceived by him. I deceived myself. Now I just have to work through those feelings. And tomorrow I do look forward to seeing my therapist because we got a lot of work on our hands. A hell of a lot of work. And, like I said, it's very hilarious that all the stuff that used to bother me don't bother me no more because I'm empowered now. Like I said, I know about narcissism, and I'm not saying I'm the complete expert or authority on it, but I can consider myself an expert as far as experience is concerned, actually living through it, actually living through that abuse, lived through it, and I'm still living through it by just getting a hand on things and getting a handle on the things that have been holding me back for years, and all those strongholds. Then I'm breaking free, and nobody is going to ever hold me back ever again, ever. As long as I have God, His wisdom, and His strength to empower me, I have everything. And you know what? I've come to the realization that, you know what? I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I don't have to prove anything to my former family. Because I always felt the way I used to be when I was once a narcissist. I mean, I really felt like I always had something to prove. Don't matter what it was, I always felt like I had something to prove. But now that I've gotten older, wiser, and matured, and decided to grow up at some point, I'm realizing more and more I don't have anything to prove. I don't have to prove myself that I'm worthy to anybody. I don't have to prove any self-worth to nobody. I don't have to prove how powerful I can be. I don't have to prove my abilities to anybody. It's like, hey, now I'm realizing it's either you like me or you don't like me. You love me, you don't love me. And now I can say, now, okay, you love me, fine. If not, that's fine with me too, because I'm not going to change who I am to fit your mold or anybody else's mold. It's like, hey, what you see is what you get, and this is who I am. And you're not going to change me. You don't like me, there's a door. Don't let it hit you in the ass. Or like my late husband used to always say, let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. And that applies to my former family. My narcissistic mother and her narcissistic daughters. And the only person that doesn't apply to that is my youngest daughter that still lives there. And God's going to bring her home to me. When, I don't know. But nobody can't stop God. Nobody. And I said it's not a matter of fact of being religious. And I'm not trying to offend everybody. It's not my intention. But with me, He's done quite a bit for me. And I'm not afraid to praise Him in public. Because there's a lot of things that He can do on His own strength that I can't even do on mine. I've done it for years and failed. And I know better. I've experienced it. So I just can't believe how much peace I feel. All deep down inside, I feel a lot of peace in me. Lots of peace. I feel some joy, but I need to work on that. There's still, like I said, the sooner that I can work through these unresolved feelings that's been repressed in me for years and years and years, once they all resurface, I can effectively deal with them through therapy and with all the journal writing that I have done. Any assignments that my therapist gives me to do at home, I have that. And it's just really good to know. It's really good to know that I'm not alone in this. And now I just welcome any comments. Like I said, I always encourage comments. I encourage your stories, because knowing your stories, I can easily relate to, and it can also help me heal in the process of just knowing I'm not alone in this. Like I said before, I guess in a video or so ago, that I mentioned something about, I always thought most of your families were all together. Families helping one another, families build up one another, and I'm realizing more and more in today's society of how less and less common that is. That the majority of your families today are dysfunctional to some point. I'm realizing that on my own. I'm just like, wow. You're never going to see the Brady Bunch type of family, or the fathers know best type of family, or the Mrs. Cleaver family, Leave It to Beaver family. That doesn't exist. If it does, I mean, a very small percentage. I mean, I don't have the stats to prove that, and like I said, I'm no doctor or therapist, but I can speak from my own experience, and it's like I'm just waking up, and it's like, because how do you explain all these stories about narcissistic parents and people being abused by it? And there's books, and there's YouTube videos, and you know there's therapy, there's psychologists, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, you name it. There's a lot of mental illness out there, and how do you explain it? There's always there's always some type of dysfunction in a family. Some families worse than others, some more extreme, some of them mild. But how I'd rate my family, my biological family, my former family that God has replaced, I really rate them at a very, very extreme dysfunction. And I'm so glad I'm out of that environment. I'm so glad that I'm getting the healing that God's provided to me. I'm so glad that God's empowering me. He's guiding my steps, and I'm getting it. And He's put a therapist in my place. And He's put a therapist in my presence to help me understand what's happened to me, to understand how it's not all my fault, and coming to those realizations that I'll never have the parents that I deserve to have, that I'll never have those parents that love me, those loving parents. I'll never have the Leave It to Beaver parents. I've just came to that realization it's not going to happen. I don't care what I accomplish in my life. My mother and the rest of them are going to treat me the same no matter what. I don't care if I wear my hair long, short, if I was fat, skinny as a rail. It wouldn't matter if I have 5 master's degrees and 2 or 3 doctorate degrees. It wouldn't matter. Wouldn't matter if I ever became a billionaire. It wouldn't matter. They will always be envious of me. They will always find ways to try to tear me down. They will always find ways to try to do something legal against me. You name it. I don't put anything past them. Because they want me at a certain level and they don't want me to go nowhere. Well, I'm sorry. I'm busting out with God's help. And He will protect me against you evil people. You're nothing. You're powerless. And it feels so good knowing that I'm empowered to say that. Because the empowerment that God has given me and the empowerment that I have found through God's help, you're nothing. What the hell have I been scared all this daggone time? You've instilled all this fear in me. I said I'm not going to beat myself up. I refuse to. So right now, I'll go ahead and wrap up this video by just saying that now I have to grieve about the father that I thought I have actually was a lie. And I have to work through those feelings and continue to grieve that. And also just telling my sick narcissistic sister that she cannot define my future. She can think whatever she wants. Because God's got the final say, and not even you can stop Him. So right now, I'll end this video right now, and I'll see you in the next video, maybe within a couple of days or so. God bless, take care, and always have peace.